Hello, welcome to Always Yarn First, the podcast that delves into knitting, crochet, spinning, and all things yarn. I'm Lindsay and I'm coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. To stay updated on my latest yarn adventures, you can follow me on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Welcome, it's the new year. So we have lots of things to talk about. I have a new KAL I'm co-hosting. Let's talk about that first before we get into the episode. The new KAL I'm hosting is the hashtag Knit Agave. This goes on from January 1st to March 18th, which is the day before the official day of spring. I am making the Agave shirt, which I will show in my whips. And I am co-hosting this with my friend Becky, who is a hand knit letter on here and on Instagram. We both wanted to make it, and I wanted basically motivation to finish by spring because I think this is going to be a perfect spring top. So we're not doing prizes. This is just a very casual knit along. We have the 3 months to work on it, so there's no pressure. But we'd be happy to if you join us, and if you do, please use the hashtag so we can see it. Sorry, I'm a little bit coughing up today, which is, I haven't had this for days, but of course on podcast day, the tickle in my throat just goes on, so I may be pausing to cough it out. Also, I'm going to insert a little bit of video here because, as I said, I'm in Arkansas, doesn't snow a lot here, and there was a chance of snow, and I'm like, yeah, right, it's not going to actually snow. It's snowing. It's totally snowing. It's sticking as of right now. I don't think it'll stick, but usually I have my phone and my email and everything off while I podcast, but my daughter, who is a fairly new driver, she is out with my car in this weather. I have complete faith in her. She's a very safe driver. We've gone over how to handle it in snow or slick conditions. She's with a friend that is very trustworthy, so I'm sure she's good, but I do have my phone on silent, but off to the side. So if you see me like side-eyeing, I'm just making sure I'm not getting any important texts from her. So let's get into the episode. It is a new year. So today's episode, if you're new here, welcome. I hope you like what you see and end up staying for a while. I name every podcast episode on a song title that I find appropriate for my mood or my making, and because before my love of yarn was my love of music. So today's song, I decided to go with Don't Worry Baby by the Beach Boys. Love that song so much. And I have a Spotify playlist. If you would like to follow it, you can go into the notes below, and I have a link to that playlist where you can find that. It has all my song titles for every episode, which, by the way, we're in episode 54. So that's exciting. So today I have finished objects, new cast-ons, whips. I'm going to kind of skim over spinning. I think I'll just talk about it in whips. I'm not going to show anything. I do have a podcast highlight, and then we're going to talk goals, both goals for last month and this month, and then year goals in general. So that's exciting. I always love talking about goals. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm just making sure this is right. I have 5 finished objects. Oh, by the way, if you want to skip around, I will have timestamps for all the sections below because this might be a lengthier one. So I have 5 finished objects, kind of 6, but I didn't even count it as a project because it's for a class coming up I'm doing. All right, so let's go in order how I have them on my notes here. Is my Woolens Nosh Advent socks. I love these so much. I am pretty sure there is another round of stripes. So I think I'm going to make another pair like this, and my daughter and I will have matching socks. I just love how sturdy these are. These are my first Woolens Nosh Targi base socks. So love, 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 love these. talked about them a lot. If you watched my Vlogmas, you saw me making these. I literally made them every day. And on the last day, I finished them. So very fun, very easy. Definitely will be getting another one this year. The other thing that you also saw me work on during Advent is Snow Matter What. My daughter put these all together for me. I did all the knitting, but she did the stuffing and the putting them together. They're super cute. This was my first time ever doing it. It's my first time doing a pattern by Imagine Landscapes. I used the Arkansas Yarn Co Ice Baby Kit, which I know they still have some kits if you decided that you want to make a couple of these guys for yourself. So both of these guys were in the one pattern. So the snowman, and I'm guessing this is the very cold no man. For some reason, my arms of this guy are crazy long. I followed the directions. I don't know. But they're super cute. So really happy with those. All right, the next thing is my pressed flowers hat. I was trying desperately to finish this one before the end of the year. I was so tired that night. I'm like, no. I was in the decreases, but I did not. Here it is. It fits. I was really, really worried about it. It is a super long ribbing, and I was just like, is this going to be huge on me? But it fits nicely. And of course, just double brim it up. So I love it. This is a pattern by Amy Christoffers. I have made the pressed flowers shawl. I had sample knit that for Argyle Yarn Shop in Brooklyn, New York. So they have that. So this was great. I did this because my friend Casey still is till the end of January, I believe, doing a I Can Buy Myself Flowers make along. So yeah, this was super fun. I really enjoyed it. This is a mosaic knitting pattern. I love mosaic knitting, and this is super easy, super fun once you get in there. All right, my last two. I only have one to show, but I have made two more of my woven cable headbands. This is a free pattern. This is my go-to headbands. I'm going to put it on. My hair is going to look a mess after this. I love this pattern. I can't tell you offhand how many I've made now, but I'm about to make two more. I'll tell you why when we get to acquisitions. But yeah, my hair is crazy. This is so, so warm. This one is, you probably saw this as a finished object last time. This is a different one, but I had gotten a skein of the Arkansas Yarn Co Yummy worsted in the colorway Mustang Sally. And I made one for my sister-in-law. And my husband took that with him when he went to Illinois. But then my niece, my sister-in-law's daughter, also said she wanted one. And so there is enough in one skein to make two headbands. So I just made her another one. I'm going to have to ship this one. So yes. And I made another one of these headbands. I had a friend come from out of town to visit me last week. And she got to go to the yarn store with me one day because I was filming an unboxing with Lori. And she fell in love with Lori's teddy bear cowl. So I'm going to insert a picture of my friend Jahari saw this cowl. And y'all know Lori does not like brown. So she saw a picture. She saw this cowl and it's so warm. And she is getting ready to move to DC. So, definitely need some warm knitwear. And she saw it and loved it and loved how warm it was. And she asked to buy it from Lori. Lori has since made another teddy bear cowl in white, I believe, which still is at the store. And so Lori graciously just gave Jahari the brown one because she don't like it. So, and Jahari looks great with it on. So then, was gushing about these headbands and I said, well, I'll make you a headband. So I actually went through my DK scrap bin, and I found this lovely brown that I thought would look great with the cowl. I couldn't even tell you what yarn it is. No clue, but it was perfect. So the picture is of myself and my friend Jahari, her all wrapped up in her new knitwear that she got to go home with. So she was quite happy. 5 finished objects. Whew! I don't know the last time that I've had that many at one time, so that is super exciting. And you know what that means? Finished objects means there's new cast-ons. So, I'm going to start with the order I have them in my notes here. So, one of my favorite go-to sock bags is this one by Trappings and Trinkets. I got this from the Fiber Universe in Peoria, Illinois. And I talked about that I'm doing the year-long DVD sock make-along, where you take a skein of her yarn every month, and you have to, in that month from start to finish, do a pair of socks in all her colorway, including heel-toe cuffs. So I usually just use her colorway and just make a vanilla sock. So this is the color I chose for January. This is one I got on D-Stash on Ravelry. This is Strawberry Shortcake. And here is where I'm at. And if y'all have been here a while, you know that red isn't my color. But I had been making a list on my phone of different friends' shoe sizes and said, don't request socks. I said, but I'm going to be making a lot this year. So if, I'm working on a color that isn't my jam, but I'm like, oh, I'm going to make these for so-and-so. So this one's going to be a gift. They don't watch the podcast. In fact, my husband's riding crew for cycling, it's one of his friends' wives. So I'll see her sometimes. We go out to dinner after their ride or whatever. So this will be for her. She wears a size 11 shoe, so these will be longer. But yeah, this is just where I'm at. Just going along, and I will do my usual shadow wrap heel when I get to my measurement I need, and just finish them as I go and not worry about them matching up exactly. So hopefully no one that gave me their shoe size is super particular about that, because I usually don't care. I just don't want to waste the yarn. I just keep going where I'm at. So yeah, those are just vanilla socks. Speaking of socks, I did forget something. The object I finished, but I'm not marking it as a project even in my Ravelry. I finished a little baby sock. I say that in quotes because I've used a couple different free patterns on Ravelry to do baby socks, but I will be teaching a beginner sock class next weekend, which is the 13th, January 13th at Arkansas Yarn Co. So this sock isn't really necessarily meant for a baby foot. This sock is meant that we can get through it during the allotted time for the class, just for people to get to know the different parts of making a sock. And then I will give them a free regular adult sock pattern at the end that they can go home and make one for themselves. So I'm literally just made the one. This will be for the class, and this is what we will make if you come to the class, January 13th. So I did start and finish that, but I'm not putting it in Ravelry. All right. Onward with other new cast-ons. And here is one of my acquisitions, another Black Pearl Magic Lavo, I think that's how you pronounce it, Labu, bag 1.5, that's referring to the size. I cast on another Flux cowl. If you remember, this will be my third one. This is also for a gift for a dear friend who loves purple. It's not you, Christy, FYI. I love this pattern. I made one for Lori. I made one for me. This is for a friend. And then I have kind of like a seafoam greeny color also in this, which will probably eventually be another one, maybe for my daughter. I've gotten that color with her in mind. If she wanted to knit on it, she started to, and then had a serious conversation with me. I don't know if I shared this before, but she had a conversation with me and said, Mom, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't think I'm going to knit and crochet anymore. And I'm like, okay. She has a lot of hobbies, and, now she's working and, driving out and doing things. And so, less time. And so things like drawing and writing become more important than knitting and crochet. That kind of was like her anxiety. I think a lot of us, to deal with her anxiety, especially she started during the pandemic, she learned how to knit and crochet, and it was helped keep her hands busy, especially while we watch TV or anything. And she's like, oh, I feel like I don't need it. And I don't love it the way you do, Mom. I'm like, it's okay. I mean, I thought it was cool that we had a similar hobby, but I'm like, it's all right. It doesn't hurt my feelings. So anyway, here's where we're at. I probably will just knit her own Flux in that green because I got that color specifically for her. So yeah, love this. Again, once I, pick this up, it flies. It really flies. But as per usual, I have a, vast majority of different things on my needles, but we'll go more into that when we talk about goals. So this is on my, one of my Make 9 boards. So that's good. We'll talk more about that. All right, so let's get into the Agave. That is the one that I'm co-hosting a knit along with Becky from A Hand Knit Letter, just basically because we both want to make it, and so we're motivating each other to get them done. So this is in my, what is it? I just lost the name. It is the Tanny Casey bag. Love this bag. And this is housing yarn, another one of my acquisitions. So I don't know if I actually talked about it on the podcast, but I did talk in depth about it on one of my blogs for December, where I knew I wanted to make this. This pattern calls for a linen yarn, 100% linen yarn. I have tried that, been there, done that. Did not work well for my hands. Hated it. But I really wanted this garment. And so I had 2 linen blend scraps in my stash. Sorry, I had a random thought come to me that I didn't talk about what I'm wearing, which is the Tawny by Erika Knight. Sorry, I am all over the place today. It's just that day where I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing. Okay. Sorry, my daughter just called. So anyway, so what I was saying is I had 2 different linen blend scraps that I could do swatches. I've learned my lesson even with this one here. This was one of the linen blends I had. This was pretty much the right, I can't remember what weight it called for. Trying to look really quick. Calls for a worsted weight. So the pattern is by Yumiko Alexander, who is Dando, and evidently she also has her own yarn. So she uses her own yarn, which is 100% linen flax in worsted weight. So this one is like the right weight, but I also had scraps of Arkansas Yarn Co. Damask, which I have the tag here, it is fingering weight, and it is alpaca linen silk. So because I had made a Hohi Locatelli tank top with that. So I held that one double, and I did a swatch with that. And then I diligently made the swatch for both, and then I washed it, blocked it, did all the things, because like I said, I wasn't super happy with this, but I did not swatch for this. So I learned my lesson. And so I made the swatches, and I really liked the Arkansas Yarn Co. Linen blend held double. So Lori was going to dye it for me, but then I went into the shop for the unboxing video, and I saw the natural color, and I'm like, I kind of love the natural. So here it is. This is Undyed, her Damask base. So I have started. I'll hold it like this. So I will say, if you do the knit along with us, it is the dreaded sweater construction. I say that because as many podcasts as I watch, people don't love bottom up and they don't like knitting in pieces because they hate purling so much. I don't mind it. I don't care. I hate picking up stitches more than I hate purling or seaming. I hate picking up stitches. But this is it. So this is held double. And I am loving it. So the pattern is just on the one side, both in the front and the back. So I'm loving it. It feels good in my hands. I love the color. I think it is going to be gorgeous for the springtime. I am super excited about this. I am nervous that it is bottom up and seamed because if you watch Knitty McPurly's podcast, which I've talked about here many times, she reads stories every week from different people. And last week was a horror story of a woman doing a bottom up in pieces sweater and following the directions exactly. And it was ginormous. That probably was that exact pattern or whatever. But I'm like, okay, timing. Like that's frightening to think about. But so this is the front piece, and I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be fine. I'm very excited. So we'll see how it goes. But if you decide to be brave and join us, use the hashtag #KnitAgave. All right. Make sure all my stuff is back in my bag. Okay. Okay, is that all of my cast-ons? Yes, so that is all of my new cast-ons. Not too bad. January DVD socks, easy. Flux, easy. Agave, I'm taking my time. So let's get into whips. The first one, I've made a little more progress on my vanilla Kimbers Cozy Creation Bonfire Nights colorway. And I haven't even been, sorry, I'm watching cars fly down this hill in front of my house. Ay. Winter in the South is amusing as long as you're safe. So this is it. I don't have a heel in there. I haven't even measured. I'm sure it's pretty much past where I would need to put in a heel. So at this point, I will just knit the whole tube, do the cuff, and then put in an afterthought heel. These are just for myself. So not much to say on that. Just vanilla knitting. All right. The other one, still it's a sock party. This is in my Rainbow Bright bag from Laura Knit for Brains. And I am working on my boots with the fern. You can see the first one is right there. I'm working on the second one. I have 5 patterns of this fern. And I think I'm about to the end of the second pattern, so it's going quickly. This pattern will not be released till May. March. I kind of wanted, because fern and green, and I'm thinking more spring feel. So I'm not in a super hurry before I want to do them in January, but I'm like, I feel like they need to wait at least till like a spring-ish month where you're thinking green and flowers and grass growing. So yeah. All right, so this is it. This is a pattern by me. It will be released in March. I am using, this is Legacy Fiber Arts, their Cozy Toes base in the colorway Guac. And then I have some wedding cake from Arkansas Yarn Co. that I do just for the ribbing on the top. Right, moving right along. Guess what I have been working on? This is the year, y'all. This is the year. I'm determined to get this thing done. And next winter, I will be cozying up and living in this cardigan. That is the plan. So, this is the Lamana Luxury Cardigan by Nordic Yarn Imports. I have talked about this pattern a long time, many episodes, so I'm just going to kind of skim over the details. I'm using Arkansas Yarn Co. Surrey Silk base, held with Yummy Sparkle base in the colorway Graphite. It is delicious yarn. So this pattern is free, but proceed with caution because at least for Lori and I, Lori is making literally the same cardigan, the same bases. Literally we'll have twinsy cardigans. But the pattern reads like a free pattern in that you have to do some deciphering. It is not a beginner-friendly pattern. So I am at the sleeve separation. I have not done that yet, but last night I was sitting and knitting on it while we were watching TV, and I'm at sleeve separation. So this weekend at some point, I have to sit down and re-decipher the next part of the pattern. I was talking to Lori on the phone this morning, and she's like, please tell me you're going to take notes. I'm like, yes, I'm going to take notes. Because I love this sweater, and even though it's a beast, I wouldn't be against making another one if I had clear instructions. So it just feels amazing. This is one of those, I have to force myself to work on it because I want to wear it so bad. So that is a big goal for this year, to get that done. And that is the end of my making for the last 2 weeks. It's just a note on spinning. I don't have anything to show. I've been working on my brown sparkly alpaca. I was doing a gray alpaca, but I was having such a hard time with the drafting of that I was just getting very frustrated. So I switched back to the brown shiny alpaca, which I already had some on a bobbin. I was in the middle of a spin. So I decided I'm going to spin the rest of that up because I enjoy spinning that one, and then ply that with my Advent spinning. So, yeah. All right. So let's move on to podcast highlight. So literally this morning, today is Friday, January 5th, by the way. Again, all over the place. All right, so I got a text or a DM in my Instagram from this person on, Instagram, of course. It is Knits and Burls, and I've never heard of them, never have popped up on my feed. She was asking me a question if I was going to be using the rest of my Woolens Nosh, which I am going to make my daughter's socks. But I just, because anytime someone DMs me, I usually look at their profile, look if I want to follow them. So I followed her on there, and then I realized she had a podcast. So I went to her latest episode, which was, I think, the end of November, and watched it this morning, and she's delightful. Her name is Annie, and she is from Katy, Texas. It sounds like I just watched the latest one, but it sounds like she was on a bit of a hiatus, that she was questioning whether she was going to podcast. She is a mom of 4, a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling mom of 4, with a 1-year-old in that mix. So I totally understand that. But I gave her a follow on YouTube, so definitely check her out below. All right, so let's get into acquisitions. All right. So you've already seen a couple, which was the Black Pearl Magic Bag, and then you saw the Arkansas Yarn Co Damask base, and the undyed. I did get one other thing from Arkansas Yarn Co. It is this. It is Malabrigo Rios whole grain is the color. I know Laura was super excited when she saw that I picked this color. I will be teaching, I'm teaching quite a few classes. I'm teaching the beginner sock class this month. And then next month in February, I am teaching beginner mosaic knitting, which I should be getting the DK minis that Lori dyed specifically for that. We are making a gingham cup cozy for that. And so then I'll be knitting that up. And then I got this to make more headbands. So the headband you saw, this one, the woven cable headband, which is a free pattern. We are doing that as a class. We are making the headband with a skein of Malabrigo Rios. So because in her worsted weight, I was able to get 2. So I'm going to go ahead and wind this up and make 1. This one's going to be for me. And the reason I chose this color, I brought it, I have this sweater that I got like on clearance at Express years ago. This is like my go-to like grandpa cardigan. Like it's pretty much my winter coat unless it's super freezing here. I don't wear a winter coat. I haven't bought a winter coat since I lived in Illinois like over 12 years ago, which means none of them really fit right. This is my go-to outside wear. So yeah. But I realized I needed a headband that actually matched my stuff. So this is going to work out great. So I'm going to make 1 whole headband and then I'll cast on another one during the class. And we are focusing on doing cabling without a cable needle. I don't use a cable needle for this, and this is a great pattern to learn it. So that's what that is for. And then I got 2 things from, pardon me, 2 things from Gritty Knits. As you know, I'm a subscriber on her Instagram channel, which means she has a special subscriber-only shop. And I don't remember which one of these is which. One of them is named 10/20/23 because she live dyed it on Instagram. And the other one is just named subscriber exclusive. Don't remember which one's which. It doesn't say. They're on the same base, which is her Time Bomb base, which is 460 yards, 100 grams, fingerling weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Just love these colors. They're exclusives. They're one time only. And when you subscribe to her Instagram, you get a $10 coupon to use each month, more than once. So if you put in 5 separate orders, you can use that coupon code every single time, which is crazy. I spend it's either $5 or $5.99 being a subscriber on Instagram. So if you order from her, you're paying for your subscription and then some. So y'all know I love Natasha's yarn and fiber. I do want to talk about one more acquisition. I don't have it here. I have bought. So because of said acquisition and my linen acquiring of the Arkansas Yarn Co linen, I am going to be going on a yarn diet at least through February. So Camellia Fiber Co. I first discovered that yarn over 2 years ago when I went to DFW Fiber Festival by myself. And I went and I saw this yarn and I'm like, it's luxurious. Feels so nice. I bought a skein to kind of play with. It's actually on the needles for the leg warmers I'll be doing for a friend. But I knew that moment I wanted a sweater quantity, but I'm like, I just couldn't do it because I went shopping at the store first, McKinney Knittery first, where I found the yarn, and I hadn't even gone to DFW Fiber Festival yet. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. But it has been on my wish list for 2 years. So Camellia Fiber Company has a secret Instagram account. I think it's literally called Camellia Fiber Co. Secret on Instagram, and they pretty much only post the last week in December. So the last week in December, I guess for the past couple of years, they have a sale. And it's sale on items that the color didn't end up right, so they didn't put it in the shop, or they were trying to dye colors and it wasn't what she wanted, like she had imagined. So like it's like all year stuff that they put off the side, like, no, that's not going in the shop. They bundle them up in exact amounts. You can't change it around, and they have it for sale. They show you on Instagram what's going to be coming in the sale, and then at a certain time and day, you go on their website and you find the bundle number you want and check out. So I'd known this was coming. I'm like, okay, I'm going to splurge. Yes, I know. I mean, buying any yarn is splurging, but I was going to splurge and try to nab a couple bundles. I was trying to be reasonable. I had my eye on 2. And the other thing I love about Camellia Fiber Co. is a lot of her colors, most of her colors are tonal, semi-tonal colors, which I do not keep a lot of in my stash. You know I love the variegated, speckled. Those are my favorite stuff. So yeah. So I was very excited that I wanted this yarn so bad, and it was tonals. Like, to me, in my head, I'm usually do not want to buy a sweater quantity. So I had my eye on 2. I had the bundle numbers ready. When the sale popped up, I was ready to go. Add to cart, check out. I got them both. So I'm super excited. I have no clue what I'm going to make with them, especially because one of them is beautiful, like green color, and it's worsted weight, but they're half skeins, and there's 9 of them, but it's like, so it's like, I don't remember, I didn't bring my note of what I wrote down, but I wrote that, I remember it's 951 yards of worsted weight. So not like full sweater, but I'm sure I can find a pattern and make something gorgeous. And then the other one kind of is reminiscent to this color, like a lovely, moody, dark gray. And that one is her DK base, but not her cotton DK. She had a lot of cotton DK, and I didn't want that. I think it was just 100% wool DK base. And that was full skeins. I think it was, but it's going to end up about 1,100 yards of DK. I don't know. What are the other of those? But anyways, I basically got 2 garments, whether it's, you know, a tank top or whatever. I'm super excited. So I've told myself that I got to get knitting. Like, that was a splurge. As I told my husband, I'm like, literally been waiting for 2 years. So I got 2 bundles, and I'm not sad about it. I'm super psyched. So, but I'm going to take a little break. Just to be working on what I have, and, you know, when I get it, to kind of figure out what I want to make. So super excited to that. The shipping label has been created, but not shipped yet. So I will definitely have that next podcast to show. All right. So let's talk goals. So first I'll go over the December, January goals, and then we'll talk bigger picture, like what I worked on for the year and things. So my December goals were all to finish things. So I have the list in front of me. Finish Woolens Nosh Advent socks, check. My Lace and Fade Boxy, check. Snow Matter What, check. Fall Valentine socks, check. Boots with the Fern socks, didn't do that one. Chevron Fade Blanket, check. So I finished 5 out of 6 of my goals for that. Okay, so my yarn in for December was 20 skeins. That made my total yarn in for the year 185 skeins. That sounds like so much. All right, but my yarn out was 22 skeins, which made my grand total for the year 170 skeins. So basically, I bought I brought 15 more skeins in the house, more than what went out. That's not too terribly bad. So I had a increase of 15 skeins for the year. All right. That's not too bad. All right, so let's talk briefly January goals specifically. So January goals, I DVD socks. DVD is Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. You're going to see that goal literally every month. But even though it's going to be every month for the whole year, I'm going to still have it on there so I can see it and cross it off. My boots with the fern socks, those definitely will be done. I have 3 more patterns and 5 rows of ribbing. And then I want to catch up with my Gritty Knits All Year Advent projects. I've been getting every month 2 minis from Gritty Knits, and I've been working on the Litmus Cowl and the Anna Zadora shawl. So I don't think I've worked on it the last couple months. I mean, December with doing vlogs and doing Advent projects, it just got pushed aside. So I definitely want to catch up on those. All right, so let's talk about what did I finish in 2023. I had 42 FOs. I broke that down. That is 10 pairs of socks, which is way more than I thought, honestly, because I wasn't really focused on socks last year. So I was actually surprised when I counted 10 pairs. 10 pairs of socks, 9 garments, 5 shawls, 5 cowls, 4 headbands, 2 blankets, 2 hats, and 5 other, which I think was like a baby dress, some dishcloths. I don't remember what else, but 5 other projects. So not too bad. I'm very, very happy with those totals. So looking for the whole year, what do I want to focus on? Well, if you follow me on Instagram, I have posted 2 Make 9 boards. So I really enjoyed doing the whip Make 9 board. So what that is, okay, don't worry that you didn't get things done this last year, but now take all your project bags out, your bedroom, your living room, wherever, your yarn stash, things that you have started, even barely started. You started it. Now, pick out 9 of those projects that you want to focus on getting done. You've already started it, the casting on, let's finish them. So I have a whip Make 9 board, which I will put here. And then last year I did a second Make 9, like a regular, like, hey, these are the things I'd like to make. I still kind of did that, but I'm calling it my stash Make 9 board. So to kind of promote I'm going to keep keeping track of yarn in and out just because I find it interesting, if nothing else. And the goal to me is always to have an even amount in and out or more yarn out than in. I don't have a space, especially with fiber stash on top of yarn stash. I don't have the space to keep adding and adding and adding and adding. So I need to make with what I have. And I have many projects that I've already grouped yarn into the bag, have the project, the patterns printed out, they're in bags, they're ready to go. I've talked about this quite a few times. So even though all of them are ready to go, I have gone through, I pulled all of those projects out where I had bagged kind of even based on the yarn. Like sometimes you buy yarn for a project and you're like, oh, I really want to play with that yarn. So I kind of picked those projects by what yarn I wanted to play with or what colors I want to see in my wardrobe because I want to make all those things, but there's more than 9 down there. So I chose 9 things from my stash that I haven't started yet, but I definitely wanted to make, and I have the yarn for. So if you think about it, I have 2 Make 9 boards. Both of them, I already have all the yarn for. So, of course, does that mean I'm not going to cast anything else on? No, of course not, because there's always new yarns, there's always new patterns, squirrel brain. It'll happen, and it's okay. But I completed my Whip 9, Make 9 board last year. And yes, that can be frogging it. I frogged 2 of the 9 projects, but finished 7 of them. And I feel like that was a win. So I think even more so, I'm going to put in a picture, so I'll put in a picture of both Make 9 boards. And then I'm putting in a picture, I've even recalculated my cubbies. Where right next to my desk, I have 2 cubbies. One is all the whips from the whip Make 9 board that I'm not actively working on yet. And then the cubby next to it, I put in all those projects for the stash Make 9, where I can grab out of those. So I'm really excited. I plan to always have one of each of those boards on my needles at any given time. Actively working, which means they'll be on my IKEA cart if I'm actively working on it. So right now, my whip, Make 9, this baby. And then my Flux, which I've just cast on since this year. And that is from my stash Make 9. I wanted to finish this one to gift it out to a friend. So right there, I have one of each of those actively working on my needles. So that is my goal for that. Of course, I would like to make more. And of course, I'm doing the DVD sock challenge. So that will be 12 pairs of socks just from those. But I'm sure I'm going to have more socks than just those 12. So yeah, I feel really good about my goals for the year. Like I said, I'm not going to, obviously I have 2 more garment quantities coming. And there's another project Lori and I will be doing down the line where we will have another twinsy project, even though we have not finished with this one. So I'll just tease about that. But it is going to be another cardigan. But she's going to dye something special for it. But I told her today, I'm like, you cannot dye that till March because I cannot buy it till after March. So, but those are my only other plans of buying like a sweater quantity of yarn. So yeah, it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a year of socks because there's going to be lots of sock classes at Arkansas Yarn Co. And a year of hopefully getting some stash yarn off my needles, out the door if it's a gift, and all that. So I'm really looking forward to it. I thank you so much for being here. And if you are still here after all of that nonsense chatting, thank you so much. I appreciate you very much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.